And I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the beautiful province of Ontario, Canada, and I am excited to be with you tonight. I am popping on just a few minutes before 7 so that YouTube can let you know I got live, and then that gives me a chance to check everything and make sure everything looks great. I hope you've had a great day. Here in Southwest Ontario, it is like 18 degrees, 19. It has been lovely. It's almost like a little taste of fall. And I love this weather. This is my kind of weather. Like I could truly just have this the remainder of the season, summer, and I would be so, so happy. So today is Wednesday, July 22nd. I cannot believe that it is almost the end of July. Where is that summer going? I was saying to someone today, how come when I'm at work it doesn't fly by like this? But my goodness, it's crazy. Just let me type something here. So tonight we are showcasing, oh, that's not what I wanted. We are showcasing the stitched, it's called a stitched season, which is a suite that is part of, which came out at the beginning of July for our online exclusives. When I saw this suite back in, as a demonstrator, we get to see it like 6 weeks in advance. It's one of the perks. When I saw this suite, I was like, oh my gosh, this suite reminded me of my mother-in-law. My sweet mother-in-law, she was an avid quilter. I am very, very blessed to have many of her handiworks around the house. I have table runners, I have quilts for our beds. We have you name it, I have it. She made me a Christmas tree skirt run, like a skirt. And when I saw this, it just reminded me of her. So I am going to dive in. We're going to look at the suite. I'm going to first show you where you can find it. Then I'm going to show you the suite. I'm going to show you some samples, and then we're going to make a card. Or we might make a card and show you samples. So this is part of our online exclusive. So every other month, Stampin' Up! Releases online exclusives. So this just came out in July, which means it's available now. You can head to our online store and find it. This is a PDF. If you're a demonstrator, you can print this off. Sometimes like customers can give you a link. I can pop the link in for this when I do this blog post. It is truly, I like it because I can actually see what I'm looking at. But here is the suite. It is called a stitched season. So right here is all the stuff you get, like a one shop. But we're going to explore everything in here tonight. So as I said, when I first saw this, it reminded me so much of my mother-in-law. And before I forget, I forgot to say, if you're here live, let me know where you're watching from. And if you're watching on the replay, shout out to those replay warriors, because I know summer's a busy time of year and you might be in between like supper and sports, and maybe you're getting home from work, and maybe you love just watching videos after the replays in your craft room. Wherever you are watching from, I appreciate you joining me today. So let's dive in. A stitched season, here is the designer series paper. So when I saw this paper, this is what reminded me of my mother-in-law. It looks like quilts. I could totally see her going and picking out patterns at a fabric store, and I can see like some of these actually being quilts. So you have like 3 different solids or 6 different solids, so that's kind of nice. You got like holly, and you got like, it's kind of like little dots. This is my favorite. It's Peaceful Pine Plaid. Candy canes, this is also my favorite, which is Snowflakes on Secret Sea. Oh my gosh, who would have thought? And this one is just like a very pretty floral. But then you have these ones that are your quilting ones, and I'm going to show you a couple ideas with that. So that is a pattern paper, designer series paper. It is 12 by 12, and there is the number. Coordinating colors are Cherry Cobbler, Old Olive, Peaceful Pine, Pecan Pie, Real Red, and Secret Sea. So really beautiful color combination. Also in this suite, you have the beautiful stitched stocking dies. If you were to not get anything but wanted one thing, I would get this. These stocking dies are a must. What you can do with them, you can create 3D boxes, you can create tags, you can create a banner, you can put them on cards, scrapbook pages. There's so much you can do. So you've got 5 greetings. You've got these nice little like quilted patch images. You've got your triangle and your squares. Obviously that is for quilting. And then you've got these beautiful dies that cut out your stocking. And then this one, I can show you, this one like layers on top. So you've got, here is your stocking, and then this one kind of like, you can see it quilts, so you could use the pieces, and then you have this. You've got your like squares, you've got like, I call this like a snowflake, you've got like greetings, you've got your stocking topper. These are kind of like, I would just say like, you could use them as to make like a border, and then you've got your holly, and then these can obviously switch out for there. So really neat ideas with that. So that is the Stitch to Stocking bundle. So you can either buy the stamp set or the dies, or if you buy it as a bundle, you actually save 10%. It has this beautiful, now this is real red stitched ribbon, but to me it looks like a cross between real red and cherry cobbler. It's a very deep real red, which is gorgeous. It's very smooth and silky. I love the little stitched look on it. And it's great to work with. Some ribbons are like, oh my gosh, can I make a bow with it? And this makes great bow. My mother-in-law, when she quilted by machine or she quilted by hand. And one of the ideas that I saw when my girls were little, I saw it from like a parenting magazine, was they made like a quilt. It was like a tree skirt with their handprints. So I asked my mother-in-law, how could we do this? And we actually created like squares, and we were able to put my girls' handprints every Christmas from when they were little. So I think it was like almost 10 years worth. I think we started in like 2021, like the 2021 year. So my one daughter would have been 1 and my other one would have been 3. And then she traced their hands and then made like a template, and then she stitched their hands all around this quilt. It is one of my favorite quilts, and I just like, every time I look at it, I just remember like, oh my gosh, those little hands when they were that little. Like now my girls are like 26 and 28 and 25. So you cherish those little things, but like quilts are like a labor of love. And if you're blessed to have somebody who quilts or knows someone who quilts and has one of those in your house, you're very blessed, because I look at all those quilts and every time I pull one out for a different season, it just makes me smile. These are adhesive back mini quilted buttons, and they're beautiful. They're real red and white, but they've got like a little bit of a shim on the side, so they're really, really like they're fun. Like they're fun to add to your projects. All right, so that is all of our what is in that suite. So let's dive in and show you some samples, and then we're going to make a card. So I actually put this on my blog today. This was one of the make and takes we did at our recent team gathering. I wanted to show them how they can just use the stocking die. Like I said, if you were just looking for a stocking die to add to scrapbooking or cards or make tags, this is the one you're gonna wanna get. I used the Forever Plaid embossing folder. So all the dies, like the holly, the berries, I'm gonna say the top of the stocking, and the label all came from the Stitch stocking dies. On this one, I don't know if you can tell, but I embossed it with the Swirl of Magic. The Swirl of Magic is this embossing folder. It actually also came out in the July online exclusives release, but it was paired with a Halloween suite. And when I was like that, I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. It's very magical, right? I don't need it. But then I saw people using it in other ways, like for birthday, like celebrations. This would make a great like New Year's Eve card. So I was like, oh my gosh, I think I need to get that. And I don't know about you, but I love embossing folders. I always tell my customer, family, and friends, like it's the best money you can invest in, because it takes a plain piece of paper and embosses it and makes it, just adds that extra detail. So Swirl of Magic currently is not available, but if you were to head to the online store, type in Swirl of Magic embossing folder. It will pop up with a little button, like a notification where you can click, add that, and then you will get a notification when that comes back into stock. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. So there's that one. And then I made another one I just wanted to show with the plaid. Like I said, the peaceful plaid was my favorite. There are those cute little buttons. One of my team members gave the idea of, like adding like a little hook to make it like hang on stockings. I love that idea. So once again, swirled. I don't know if I can leave it plain. Like I love how it looks with the swirl. I used the Nestled Essential dies and brought in the Merry Christmas from the stamp set. So there's just another way of using that. I'm going to show you another idea with the stockings, and then that way we'll be able to. So the other morning when each week when I do my prep for my videos, I have a basket that sits on my desk. And as I was sitting there, I was like, oh my gosh, I should make a stocking using the new gold foil. So I created this very vanilla, cherry cobbler, and peaceful fine. That is a very rich color combination, and I think it's one that people will use a lot for this holiday season. I kept the background plain. Basically the holly and the berries and all that, everything came from the stitch dies again. But what we did was, my friend Katie was over here, so we were making them together. We used the hot foil system, and I showed you that last week. So if you're new to my channel, you want to check out that video, go back and check it. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. We would love to have you come or stop by each week or watch the videos on replay. So we used the gold foil. This was the Botanical Glow. I just thought, oh my gosh, what would that look like on a stocking? So just another way of showing you how you can mix and match those products. So there is that one. And then I kind of started with this to make it as a card. And then I was like, oh no, I really like this idea. So I wanted to show you how you can use the stocking die and then that inside stocking die to create like a stitched look. So you can see right here that it's stitched. So this is one of the pattern papers. I just cut out the stocking with the die. And when you do that, you get these stitched looks. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. So I actually made it into a tag. How fun would it be to have a whole bunch of these at Christmas time, and all you need to do is write your to and from and stick it onto your present? Wouldn't that just brighten somebody's morning when they were like handing out a present and they saw that on top? I just think it's so cute. I had to do the cardinals because the cardinals are my favorite. So there is some ideas to use with the stockings. I'm just going to put these over here for now. I want to show you some other ideas. So as I said to you, my favorite pattern was the snowflake, and I do love this floral. Like I think this floral you could use for every day. When I showed this to my team on Sunday, they were like, it looks like a snow globe. It makes me want to go like shake it and watch all the snowflakes fall down. I used the Spotlight on Nature dies. There's the die from the Stitch Stocking. I cut out the tree from the Stitch Season Designer Series paper, and then I brought in some rhinestones just to add a little bit of sparkle to our to the snowflakes. So there's another idea. And then I kind of went basic. When I first started, I was like, oh, let's just see. I want to show them what you can do with the quilty paper. So I found a sketch, and I used that swirly magic background, and then I brought in the Peaceful Pine. Like I said, I could have a full pack of this gingham plaid, this plaid Peaceful Pine. I'd be happy. Brought in the candy canes. May your day be merry and bright. And then these are the new in color dots, and it worked perfect for what I was doing. So just something simple, like if you wanted to mass produce. Here is the one where I think this reminds me of my mother-in-law, because I could totally see this on a Christmas runner. This was just the paper. So I took the paper. I'm going to call these like snowflakes. So I die cut those out from the Stitch Stocking dies. I did cherry cobbler and Peaceful Pine. And then I brought in the ribbon, and then I added my greeting. This was the other make and take that we did at our team gathering. So each month we create 2 make and takes. I just thought it was a really neat way to show the versatility of what you can do. And then on the other project I have is this one. I'm just using like that quilt paper. As I said, I'm a huge fan of cardinals. So I brought in the greeting, I added the button, and then I added my little ribbon right there. So as you can see, there is wide variety of ways that you can use the Stitch Season the stitched stocking dies, which is part of a stitched season suite. So I hope that inspired you. But let's make a card together, and then I'll bring these all back in near the end, just so you can see them. All right, so I have gone ahead and done a lot of the die cutting just because it saves time, but I think, maybe maybe you don't, but like I'll share what I did. Okay, so we have, let me find here. We have 2 pieces of the holly, which is from the stitched stocking die. We have these little berries, which to me look like little Mickey Mouse ears. Aren't they little cute? So this die actually cuts out 3. If I show you on the package here, it's actually 1 die, but it cuts out 3 sets of berries, which is a bonus. We have our Secret C designer series, Secret C cardstock. So 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So let's go ahead and score that with our bone folder. And that just helps crease the crease and plus helps lay it flat for when you're working on it. So I need to grab my adhesive. I have done, this is basic white, 4 by 5 1/4. I've already went and embossed with that, where did I put it? With the swirly magic. So as you can see, when you put it in plain, and this is what it comes out with. Isn't that beautiful? Like, I just love it. I think there's so much you can do with it. So let's go ahead and adhere that down. Okay, so there's that. I have already gone ahead and die cut out some pieces. So this is what the stocking die will look like, and I cut it out of Secret C. So that you can see it's a fairly big stocking. Like I said, you could use it for tags, you could use it for 3D boxes, you could use it for a banner. How cute would that be? There's lots you could do with this. I think it would be great. What if you had them hanging like on a scrapbook page? So there is our stocking. And then as I shared with you, so let me just pull this in so I can show you what I did. So I used this die and my paper to cut out that stocking. So there's that. Then I used the inside stocking right here. So when I cut that out, it came out like this. So you can see there's the stitch line there, and then it has this like little snowflakey on top. I don't know if you can see that right there. But what is nice is it just layers inside like that. So you can see here's the die. So you get the stitch line, and then you get that little piece there. Then I used the top of the die to run it through. Now this time, because I did the swirly, I thought I would do a little bit of Forever Plaid. So let's go ahead and adhere this down. And be very careful when you do, because you're using, that is already like stitched a little bit. Just so you know, we're just trying to center it up here. Let's go ahead and we'll put down, make sure we got the right side. There's that. Oh my goodness, it's stuck to my finger. Look at that, sticking to my finger. Tape is, there we go. All right, so there's that. Look how cute that is. Now let's bring in our liquid glue, and we're gonna add our little holly. When I think of holly, it reminds me of my grandmother. My grandmother loved holly bushes, and she had a couple of them in her gardens. I think holly bushes are very pretty. So as I said, you get 2 sets of dies to cut out the holly, which is really nice. So if you were wanting to make like a bunch of these cards, you could. And then I'm just gonna put like a little dot, and that's gonna be our berry. Oh goodness, that just stuck there. And let's put our berry this way. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit there for a minute. But I wanted to show you when I was die cutting out my stocking and I did the inside, I got this piece here, and I was like, that's actually kind of cool. You could like, you know, put a different layer in there. You could do some fun things with this. So I thought I would leave that to show you what you could do. And then as I said, look at that paper. Isn't that just stunning? Like I love, love, love that paper. I think it's so pretty. Definitely one of my favorite patterns. All right, let's go. Before we do that, we're going to bring in the ribbon. Let's bring in some scissors here, and we're just going to cut off a little piece. And if you follow me, you know I love to give you tips and tricks along the way. So these are binder clips. They actually came in a kit that Stampin' Up! Had many years ago. And I think I was cleaning this out. I actually saw this idea from my good friend Patty Bennett. And I love it because you can use the binder clip to hold your ribbon, and then when it sits on my shelf, it's nicely rolled up and all my ribbon isn't hanging everywhere and driving me crazy. So that is really nice that way. So let's go ahead and we're going to, I think this might be a little too big. We might need to cut it a little bit. I don't need it to be that big of a loop. All right, so we're just going to hit this for a minute. So we're going to take our glue dots. These are our mini glue dots. I'm just going to put a piece of ribbon, a glue on my ribbon, and then I'm going to fold it over and make like that little loop to hold my stocking. And then we're going to bring it in like this. So how cute is that? And then we're going to pick up another little piece. And we're, oh, it's sticking to my finger. And we're just gonna add it there. So it looks like it's just hanging. So let's do that. And then I need dimensionals. So let me grab some dimensionals. These are honestly like your best friend. Cannot not have these. If I put one on top of the ribbon, that will just help secure that ribbon in place. And you can put as many as you want. I'm gonna put actually right there, maybe one right here. Let me bring in my little garbage can. I just use like a little container. Oops, oh, it's not sticking. Oh, put that there. All right, and we're just gonna put it on like a little bit of it. We're gonna hang it like that. All right, so now we're going to, let me just grab my mini cut and boss, which is right here. And let's just bring, we're gonna do like a little die. So let's find some paper. I think this will be big enough. Is that? I have a bad habit of mixing my basic white with my willow white. And now I'm like, what is what? I'm trying to find what is what here. I think that looks good. All right, so this is our Stampin' Cut and Boss. This is the baby. I call this the baby boss. So this is the baby one. We have two sizes. I like this one for when I'm doing videos because it's easy to use. But I like my big one, obviously, for embossing. And then if you wanted to heat emboss, you would also need it for that. So I have our die. Let's just go here. And let's just move that out of the way. See how quick and easy that is? I love the little one. All right, so there's our die. And you know, if you follow me, you know I'm a huge fan of anything stitched. I just like the stitched look. So let's, I think we're gonna do Cherry Cobbler Greeting. So I'm gonna open our ink pad. We're gonna get a block. And we'll do a Merry Christmas greeting. So my stamps are well loved already. This one is definitely, unfortunately, the darker inks do stain the, oh, sticking to my thing. They do stain the stamps, but they don't affect your stamping, which is good. So let's just stamp this, tap, tap, tap. And I'm just gonna bring this a little closer so I can see what I'm doing. I like this greeting because it says Merry Christmas to you and yours, which I think is very elegant. It's a nice greeting. Now let's bring in my dimensionals again. And we're going to, I just kind of want to, trying to make sure I don't have it. Maybe we'll put it that way. Maybe we'll just, I'm going to pop it up. I like things when things are popped up. So as a demonstrator, I actually got to see the new September to Mini catalog and the new September online exclusives. Oh my goodness, it's going to break the bank. It is so beautiful. And we actually got to start ordering that product yesterday. So if you follow many demonstrators, you're going to start seeing that product. I actually sat down this afternoon and made my list of what I want to do. So now I know I'm good to go. I just need to place my order. All right, let's see what one of these will look like on it. Let me bring in my take a pic tool. I'm not sure if it will, let's see. What do you think? Yeah, let's add it. Just adds a little bit of extra. Just adds to your stocking. Isn't that, how cute is that? So cute. So there is another stocking done, card done with the stitched stocking dies, which are part of a stitched season. It's a mouthful. All right, so let's bring that a little closer so you can see what you, I almost thought we glued it the wrong way. What it looks like up close. You can see that swirly magic. It looks really cool. I love it. I just love the snowflakes. They're so pretty. Okay. So there's that card. Let's just bring back in the samples to share with you. Just what you can do with all these ideas. So let's bring all these up here because these are all the stockings. So as you can see, I created like almost 5 different ways of using the stocking that give you some like, you know, just different inspiration, like using the patterns, using the plain patterning, add a little bit of gold, some more patterns, creating a tag, and then brought in some of these other ones just to show you the different ways of using this stamp set or this bundle and suite. As I said to you, this brings me so much joy. Every time I use it, I think of my dear mother-in-law, who I know is probably smiling from up above. And like I said, she was an avid quilter. Now, this only is not just for Christmas. You could totally use these for other holidays. As I said to you, I think this pattern would be beautiful. Like as like you could do those. They would be really nice. There's different ideas. I've also seen demonstrators use the dies. So using these dies here, and they made their own with some of our in color and color family DSP. So there's lots of ways to do that. So if you're like, I really like this, but I'm not sure yet, I would just Google it, or like on Pinterest, go up and put in a stitch stocking die or a stitch season by Stampin' Up, and you're going to get tons of ideas. More and more people are definitely showcasing it. I think a lot of people are doing Christmas in July. So I always like doing Christmas in July. I think it's fun. I don't know you about you, but I love Christmas. Christmas is one of my favorite holidays. I love everything about it. My favorite is Christmas music. I could probably listen to that 365 days, but I try to wait till October. I love the lights. I love like when it's dark, but the lights shine, like just make that neighborhood glow. I love everything about it. So I definitely cannot wait to send these when it's the holiday season. I'm going to, you know, the saying is make a card, send a card, because we need to brighten people's days. And I cannot wait to send these out to family and friends and use some for my customers when they place, for my customers also. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope that I have inspired you to either, if you're a demonstrator and maybe you have this, pull it out and create with it. Maybe you're a stamper watching a video and you have it and you haven't used it. I hope I've inspired you. And if you're like, I really like that, Ian, how do I purchase it? Head on over to my blog, which is www.stampwithanne.com, and click shop now and just type in a stitch season and it will come right up for you. So I want to say thank you so much for joining me. This video will be up on my blog on Friday along with the measurements for this card. So I'll actually give you all the measurements. I posted this one today, and what other one did I post? Oh, I posted these two, and I've given you the measurements to those. So I'll give you like the card base and the measurements that you need to create those samples. And you don't have to. Maybe you have an old stocking die. Maybe you have Christmas pattern paper you wanted to use. You can totally take these ideas and switch them out to make them with products that you have on hand. That's the best thing about crafting, right? Like you can see an idea and you can make it your own. So I hope I've inspired you to do that. I hope I've inspired you to make a card, send a card, and let's brighten somebody's day. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will be back next week at 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday night. And I can't wait to stamp with you guys. So have a fabulous week and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.